go.
Trucks.
Trucks.
The return. Look at those recycling bins.
We decided to do a trucks today.
Yeah, I've been missing doing trucks when we don't do trucks because we're doing this other thing. Because the other thing doesn't, like... The other thing requires even less effort than trucks, if that is a thing that you can imagine.
Not for me, it doesn't. I have to edit things twice a week.
I know.
And you actually have the bad bits.
Well, have to is a bit of a stretch. I mean, you know,
this would be like, they would be so bad if I didn't.
Oh, wow. I mean, oh, Jesus, I hope that's okay on the thingy.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to miss even a second
of
the fidelity from that lovely lumberyard, which is a thing that we hadn't seen before. This is beautiful in general. We're in Innsbruck.
It's because of the dusk.
And we're going to the incredibly far... We're going to the easternmost point available in the game in Slovakia.
Yes.
We're going out. We're going into the white hinterland here.
By the way, it's sawdust panels. They look like a boring blue crate.
Yep. It's only 14 tons. We are... put it this way. This is not... We've moved back from the explosives. We moved back from... We had the option...
It's been a while, so we decided to...
We had the option to do arsenic tonight. We didn't do arsenic tonight.
Still haven't fixed that problem.
Yep. Nope. It's trucks in all its glory.
Been completely unable to figure out what's causing that. Anyway, what's the news today, Isaac? Oh, God, I hope this isn't one of these situations.
Well, Josh, while we're waiting in traffic, it turns out that it's really hard to animate a female walk cycle.
Oh my God. Yes, we're going to spend the entire episode harping on Ubisoft.
No, we're...
Oh, yes, we are.
Okay, we are. I was going to complain about how some motherfucker sold me a broken record player.
Well, maybe we'd better do that first.
I'm in a unique mood because I have been in intensive rehearsal for this play all week, which is opening tomorrow, and I haven't slept a lot, and there were a lot of stressful ups and downs, and then this motherfucker sold me a broken record player today, and I have a sneaking suspicion that he did so on purpose. So it's the first like, you know, it's the first
he's in upset mode because I pushed him. Excuse me, buddy.
Oh dear.
Just get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
Oh dear.
No one's penalizing me. It didn't even give me a traffic collision because I hit him so gently. Now this guy just has to go so I can move on. Hopefully my...
I think that our trucking may have started off on an unfortunate day.
I haven't made the traffic any worse.
He's only got one headlight now. What have you done to the poor man?
I think he's just indicating. Oh wait.
Look at that dark void.
Are you sure that's not just the shadow of my truck?
It's just the shadow of your truck.
It looks pretty weird.
It's the shadow of your shadow. And the shadow of your truck.
It's moving.
But anyway,
the red car's going to move.
It turns out that jiggle physics is just very difficult for 9 studios working together to
It's insane.
accomplish.
This isn't even the first time.
It would have doubled the development time of the game had they had to...
Let's give them the real background here. Assassin's Creed Unity is the first Assassin's Creed game to have multiple player characters, at least in the main story mode.
Yeah. Josh showed me a trailer for the game before this shitstorm broke. My commentary on the trailer was like, "Ooh, I love those palaces."
Yes.
It was some really great environment design.
Ubisoft's demos have displayed some excellent craft of game demos.
Josh has been made extremely sad by both of the big BioWare demos this season.
Ubisoft.
I'm sorry, Ubisoft. Barf. Because
they can't be real.
Yeah, they promise games
cool.
that cannot possibly exist.
Yeah.
Like, I would love it if there was a game which could predict that the peasants will begin storming the palace just as the Duchess says something extremely ironic in a way that is not going to happen every single time that you play that particular scenario.
Yeah.
But, you know...
I mean, like, the game looks like it's taking some cues from Dishonored, and even if some things do play out, if you, like, let it play out the same way every time... Like,
then that's your fucking fault.
It's about
that's
like,
player error.
Right, yeah. It's about giving the player enough ways to steer the situation, right? Is how to make it enjoyable.
Like 3, maybe 4.
But the scale of all the moving parts in the scenario displayed are so incredible, and the fucking gameplay in Assassin's Creed has been so clown shoes for so long that I have to believe that it's going to be a mess. But anyway, the real thing is that the story has 4 playable characters, and none of them are women. They are all scruffy white dudes, right?
Yep. The scruffiest.
Yes.
The stubbliest.
And so Ubisoft, when questioned about this on the show floor by some game journalists,
Some enterprising journalist.
yeah, who no one knows who asked him this question. Like, this guy was the catalyst for some serious internet shitstormery. But yeah, the answer, which came from some Ubisoft guy, was doing all the animations for a female character would be a lot more work. I don't think he literally said it would double the development time of the game, but he did say...
That was reported somewhere. The shitstormery has gotten to the
Yeah.
point.
He did say that it would double the workload. He said it would double the workload. That was the end of that sentence. I think what he meant was it would double the workload for our animating
For the person
artists.
who was... For the animating artist who was in charge of animating
Yes.
the protags.
Now...
Because women walk a completely different way
Right.
than men do.
And the internet took that to task for being
Yeah.
kind of a bullshit excuse that we've heard before, because even if it would be a lot more work, like, let's
Yeah.
give them the benefit of the doubt for now and say, yeah, that would be a lot more work. Because, you know, women
You
are
would have-
animated differently.
You would have to make her sexy, right? Because why else would you do it?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
You'd have to make her sway
the realistic way of looking at it is that, like,
and
you know,
be
she might
showing
not...
her boobs and ass to the camera.
She
both
might
at
not be the
time.
same size as the male avatar, so, and this is an animation system that has her interacting with a lot of different objects in the world. So I can see how you'd have to manually recalibrate it for every object, and how that could be kind of a big deal.
Cost millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars,
Literally,
literally millions of euros,
yeah, right.
millions of
And
precious
here's-
euros,
Even if that is true,
millions of Canadian dollars.
right? Yes.
Um,
Even if that is true, like, it still shows that, like, female avatars are something that they would add later if they have time. Whereas obviously, like, you know, they're not just going to make it so that only female avatars can do it. Nope.
No.
They're not going to make
That's
it
ridiculous.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I mean, that would also be like historically accurate.
Yeah, it would. The game is set during the French Revolution, and, like, apparently one of the most famous assassin from that time period was a woman. But they're also
It's
not
famous for its vicious women.
They're also not going to, like,
Madame Defarge under the
structure
guillotine.
their workflow so that they can, like, make that sort of thing a very high priority. Like they say, this is the reality of game development, but the thing a lot of people have been saying is this is a reality that you guys have created.
Yes.
So you can't act like you're just victims of circumstances here. And then the shitstorm got even more intense when did you hear this?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
When,
I really enjoyed the pronunciation of shitstormery in 3 syllables there.
Yes, it got even more intense when the lead animation director for Assassin's Creed 3, who
Oh.
apparently is a freelancer or
Oh,
something,
no.
laid down a few facts on Twitter. Namely that, for example, there's a mobile Assassin's Creed game where you play a female avatar, and apparently she shares more animations in common with the main character in Assassin's Creed 3 than the other playable character in Assassin's Creed 3, who is the main character's brother or father, or one or the other. And a few other things like that. Ultimately, he said, to me that sounds like an extra day or 2 of work. Not redoing 8,000 animations, which is something that one of the Ubisoft people said.
So has Ubisoft backed down at all after this?
Ubisoft
Or
released-
Are they doubling down?
They put out a press release which said something like, I wish I could remember exactly. It wasn't an apology.
No, of course not.
It was basically hopefully next time, like, you know.
That's what Nintendo did about their like straight Marion Me's. It was just like, well, we've seen the error of our ways. It didn't occur to us throughout the entirety of our development process or any of our marketing or testing, but
Yeah.
now the internet has told us that we fucked up.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to gay up our games next time around.
It's been nice to see Ubisoft have to eat their words a little bit. I mean, when you put out a press release about the controversy that's happening, the controversy.
You're an American, Josh.
Controversy. The controversy.
The controversy.
The controversy.
I mean, that is better.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but it makes you sound like a ponce.
I don't need to refuel.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I just saw the opportunity. And
Ooh, to
thought
thread
I'd
the
take-
needle. Sweet
Yeah.
truck moves.
Yeah. So anyway, lots of good jokes have been made about this situation. Let's make some of our own.
I don't know. All I've been doing is repeating jokes that I've already seen about this situation.
Yeah.
Some of which have been drawn into full-fledged comics.
Yes.
There have been comics which suggested that the animators at Ubisoft do not know about how girls' legs work.
Yes.
Because they had forgotten the girls had legs, and so when somebody brought it up, they're like, "This is going to require just too much extraneous research."
There are so many bizarre assumptions Ubisoft hoped that we would accept unquestioningly, right? That
Well,
like
it sounds like somebody said something really stupid.
but a few of his comrades came to back him up and like corroborated.
Which suggested that they had already worked out this line beforehand because they knew somebody would notice.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Interesting.
Like I think the other people were responding to the news that he had said this, which was already getting around, and then they basically said, "Yeah, he's right." Like the 8,000 animations that would need redoing thing didn't come from
His ass.
No, it didn't come from his ass. It came from somebody else's ass.
Yes, it came from a higher up's ass.
I don't know if it was higher up.
It speaks to me of like the result of a meeting that they had at some point.
That's
right?
very possible.
It was just like they plotted out the cost benefits of this, and and so it seems like a bullshit management decision, for the most part.
Yeah.
But that if that is in fact true, then it would be it would be lovely to see somebody stand up and be like, "This was my decision."
Yeah. The same thing happened with Far Cry 4, by the way. Someone else said, "Yeah, I think he actually said it's kind of depressing. We wanted to have a female because that game also has co-op. We wanted the other player to be able to play as a female character, and we came within a hair's breadth of doing it. There were some loud voices on the team that really wanted it, but ultimately, because of a workload issue, it didn't happen."
Right. So this was,
and this is an old excuse too. I think.
Is it so? It's like if you were to like break out the feature list of Far Cry 4, or whatever the feature list happens to be.
It was supposedly on there at some point.
Yep, you would have to pick the lousiest feature in Far Cry 4,
right,
and be like, it was less of a priority to have a female main character. I mean, of course, like versus cost benefit. I mean, but
and it's not the same team members who like design levels, for instance.
Right, exactly. But still, I mean, if you brought it out, I'm sure that you could see plenty of like.
Yeah, I mean, like Assassin's Creed Unity looks like it's a game full of so many things. Like,
it's painterly. It's fucking painterly.
Yeah, it's tempting to say like that they traded female avatars for like the way that roof is hatched so well, and that would be slightly fallacious. But
yeah.
If there's something to that line of thought, regardless.
They really wanted to make sure that their bogus historical locations from their nerd historical fiction worlds.
God, it looks like such an amazing environment.
Yeah, no, but they had to make sure that it was incredibly authentic and beautiful, so that they could like run their alternative histories that are just complete bullshit.
Yeah.
In them, with a feeling of authenticity which you wouldn't get from the writing because the writing is always shit.
Usually, yeah.
If you get a fucking dramaturg in there, you could make it feel realer. If somebody did some research and like wrote it properly, then all the graphics in the world cannot give you the same sense of verisimilitude as somebody actually having done the work. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Slightly off topic.
Yeah, but anyway. Although there's plenty of things to complain about with
totally.
with Ass Creed. I mean, we could have had a female avatar in this game, but they had to put those birds in.
I think you can choose a female avatar in this game. The profile screen where you choose your face. I think some of them are women. We should check. We'll do an addendum at the end of this.
Yeah,
video.
no, I mean, I mean that would be so trivial that it would be really silly if they didn't.
Yeah.
Not to mention, female truckers are the best.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I know that from anime.
Let's not forget to do that.
No, I don't know it from anime. I know it from. God, what was that book? Was
Something
that
female
Hideo
truckers.
Shimoda or? It wasn't. It wasn't what's his face. It wasn't Murakami that had a. Whatever.
Naughty Dog demoed their new game at E3. They're the guys behind Uncharted and The Last of Us.
Uh-huh.
And it starts with a close-up of the main character's face, and for the first few seconds of the trailer, I could not tell if I was looking at Nathan Drake or Joel. Which of their scruffy white dudes was it?
Bob.
Was what I was asking myself.
We were The Last of Us is the one that we thought was super smart compared to BioShock Infinite. Maybe this game will subtly subvert the trope of white scrubbly dudes.
People, it's Uncharted 4. People like Uncharted. I've never played it.
Well, there goes that discussion. I mean, really, we're glossing over the big news from E3, which was the Dead Island 2 trailer.
Yes. If you haven't seen the Dead Island 2 trailer and you want to be grossed out
in so many different ways at once.
I mean, who here remembers the original Dead Island trailer, right? It's about as loathsome, just in a completely different way.
Yeah, we talked about it in
Goat
Simulator
on
a previous episode. But yeah, no, it's the impression that I got from watching that trailer was like, the people who made this, A, hate everyone, and B,
especially hate their audience.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
They hate you particularly. They have hatred. They have hatred and contempt for everybody who isn't a pasty white nerd, and they hate you.
You know what the worst part is? Like, there are people who love that trailer.
I'm sure.
There are people saying, like, I'm glad Ubisoft isn't bowing to the feminazis and doing things that would make no sense for the setting.
Ubisoft?
Yeah. With 3 female characters.
Oh, well, that's your standard, like, the thing that you see on the internet every once in a while where people are like, no, it doesn't make any sense that there would be a black person 400 years ago. Black people didn't even have boats 400 years ago. I actually saw that one. It was like, there couldn't possibly have been any black people in 13th century Europe because they hadn't even invented boats yet. Yeah, no, I mean, that's your standard, like Eurocentric, chauvinistic, ahistorical fucking idiocy from fucking Americans who are fucking educated incredibly poorly and fucking think they know everything. Fuck.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you! You know what we have in common with the developers of Dead Island 2? Fuck you!
God, look how loud I was right there.
Oh, wow. You're going to have to edit that. Oh, I think that one is particularly bad. We're looking at the waveforms as we do this, ladies and gentlemen, so we know exactly when we have just plugged
We've
in
made a mistake.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, that'll show up on the editing. You can
to fix it.
You should bleep all of the fucks. That'll be an exciting thing to do.
We'll just have it very loud. You know something funny about Assassin's Creed?
Yes.
There were 2 mobile game spin-offs of Assassin's Creed 4, the pirate one.
People thought they were quite good, if I recall correctly.
They were okay. Rain. What's my windshield wiper button? There it is.
Nice.
And in one of them you play a woman.
A woman?
Yes, we mentioned that one earlier. Mm-hmm. And in the other one, you play a black guy, an escaped slave.
Okay, so we can have minorities, but they have to be on peripheral consoles.
Yes, exactly. But also, in these games...
Minorities. Women! Anyway, sorry.
Taking these 3 games as a whole, the one where you play as a white pirate, the one where you play as the escaped slave, and the one where you play as a woman, they kind of accidentally make a ludic statement on what it means to be an oppressed minority.
Oh, yeah?
In the one where you play as a woman, you actually have to pay attention to what outfit you're wearing because your character can't run around and jump on things as well if she's wearing a nice dress, but the guards and stuff will react to you differently.
Right.
And in the one where you're an escaped slave, the guards will occasionally notice that you're walking around with slave markings on your face, and you actually have to be looking over your shoulder all the time.
So that sounds very good.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody had a very good idea.
No one's sure if it was on purpose or not.
I mean, you can't have a game. I mean, those gameplay mechanics must surely. I mean, they. How do you say? How do you not do that on purpose? How do you accidentally?
I mean, different teams worked on all 3 of those games.
Oh, you mean like the symmetry between the 3 games in that respect?
Yeah, it might not have been deliberate. It does seem like someone thought, what's it mean that you're playing as an escaped slave in Caribbean piracy times? But
right. I mean, it seems like somebody put one thought ahead of another.
Yeah. No one. What's less clear is the one where you're a woman. It might just be that someone thought, wouldn't it be fun if you could play dress up since you're playing as a lady now?
Well, I mean, at least then the logical conclusion of that was played out.
Yeah.
A lot of these things can actually be, extrapolated relatively easily just by thinking about the circumstances of the age.
Yeah.
So if somebody was if not paying attention, then at least had the second thought after the first thought in terms of what the consequences of the situation would be.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yarn Yoshi.
Here's the other news out of E3. Nintendo is back
again.
According to the internet consensus machine, Nintendo is good guys again. After the 2-week old news that gay people aren't real, according to Nintendo.
Yeah, well, all is forgiven because they made games that had playable female characters and
Team Ninja made one under their banner anyway.
And we're all about shooting things. And
they're making an open world Zelda game.
It was colorful and nice, and everybody felt like relaxed and happy after all the explosions, and everybody was like looking back on the what's it called, Watch Dogs?
Watch Dogs, yeah.
Yeah, everybody was looking back on Watch Dogs and being like, can you make games that are as unlike this as possible, please? And Nintendo was like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to be Nintendo because being different, having the Nintendo difference is super valuable when the entire rest of the industry seems bent on making games that are as the same as they possibly fucking can be.
Of course, once E3 is over, everyone's going to remember that Nintendo is essentially the company that makes the machine that all the shovelware goes onto.
Yes, in particular, they're going to play these games when they come out, and they're not going to be very good games.
Yeah.
Unless
they are.
They are. I mean, that would be. But
here's the problem. If Anna Entropy, another game they announced is a level editing thing
for Mario.
For Mario, yes, yeah. Which is great. Like, they're embracing the old ROM hack culture thing, and Anna Entropy just wrote a book about how level editing is a powerful means of expression. And she tweeted about that game. This is the game I've wanted them to make for years. Good job releasing it on a console nobody owns or cares about.
Owie.
Yeah.
Maybe no.
They're trying their best to save the Wii U, right? They're releasing all these, or at least they're announcing all these promising games for it, and they won't give up on that thing. Will it be the next Virtual Boy? People are literally writing those articles.
The sad thing is that it would make so much more sense for this game to be released on a PC.
Oh, that's true.
It will never happen, but right. So, yeah. Oh well.
Gaming.
Valve is going to release a console that can emulate PS4, Xbone, and the Wii U, and it will have headsetless virtual reality
in 2050.
And I mean, yes, when Gabe Newell is done. Gabe Newell has actually taken up constructing elaborate Fabergé eggs, and that's just taking up most of his time at this point. He's learning all of the dance steps of the Saxville Coburgs. He's building a replica of the Taj Mahal out of dental floss using a pair of zircon-encrusted tweezers.
How many game designers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Well, as long as none of the light bulbs have boobs, you can do it in 3 years with 9 studios.
You just came up. I hope you
it's
just
not
came
very
up with
good
that, because that was a terrible joke.
That
was a terrible joke. It's much worse than the similar joke, which I've heard made recently, which is I've already told it to you. But pretend that you haven't heard it before and laugh properly.
I think I know what this is going to be. Here we go.
How many men's rights activists does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
Not all of them.
No!
Hey! That's a good joke. That's a good joke. You have to have been paying attention to Twitter to get that joke.
I'm sure our audience gets that one.
Everybody gets that joke. It's a good joke. It's a solid joke. We're just joking. We're joking on horrible people.
Oh yeah. I love a joke.
I love a joke. How many school shootings have there been since Sandy Hook, and where we resolved to never have a school shooting again?
How many weeks since Sandy Hook?
No. How many school shootings have there been since Sandy Hook?
No. I'm asking how many weeks since then, because that's the answer.
No, you're wrong.
No,
you're wrong. It has been less than 74 weeks since Sandy Hook.
Wow. Okay. That was an illustrative way to be wrong.
That's a pretty good joke.
Yeah.
Except it's true.
Yes. Were you just going to say 74?
Yes. And then I was going to laugh and laugh and laugh because I'm in that kind of mood at the moment. And we are... It's interesting.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
At least Obama just came down hard on Trump.
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool.
That's awesome. It's the best thing that could have happened. I don't know. There's like my Twitter's feed is full of people right now who are like paying attention to stuff and getting really depressed, and then like intentionally stopping paying attention to stuff because it's making them very sad indeed.
Yes.
And like I've been trying my best to say good things. It's like people have been like, tell me literally one good thing about our culture, and I've been like, well,
so much free expression.
Exactly. Well, I mean, a webcomic artist asked this, and I was like, the democratization of publishing, Mr. Webcomic Artist, and like various.
I don't suppose they responded in any way.
They favorited it.
Oh, wonderful. That's nice.
But yeah, I'm like, it's my general feeling has always been that like feelings of apocalyptic decline are always overblown and tend to happen at any given point in history with essentially equal frequency, and
probably more frequency now that we can all remind ourselves instantaneously of all the terrible things going on.
I mean, certainly it's like,
and that's what the news media focuses on, of course.
Yeah, I mean, and so there's even more like confirmation bias at work now.
Yeah,
but it's quite hard to be cheerful at the moment because this dude sold me a fucking broken record player,
and it's E3,
and that was the last thing that we needed to get our house back in shape after the folks moved out and took some stuff. We were going to be a whole household again, and now we're not until I buy another record player.
We have speakers, though. I've been making good use of those with my iPod.
Yeah, I turned off the bass boost on your iPod, by the way.
Oh, I didn't realize that was on.
It was making the speakers unhappy.
I'm sorry about that.
No problem. Like, not in a permanent way.
Mm-hmm. I did think things were sounding a tiny bit mushier than usual.
Yeah.
I just blamed it on old firmware or something. But hopping back to E3 quickly, someone said something really lousy that's been eating at me. You want to hear it?
I just said that I didn't. Yeah. Tell me.
I was talking about it was the first day of E3 and we were watching all these game demos and most of them were lousy, shooting brown people and so on.
Yep.
And I said I can't wait. I said half seriously, I can't wait for AAA gaming to die.
Yeah.
And what he said was, and I also said you guys should be watching Indie 3, which is this alternative stream for lots and lots of keynotes and a few indie trailers and things like that.
Cool. Did somebody hurt your feelings?
What he said was, he didn't hurt my feelings. What he said was that he's more excited about AAA than, quote, knee-jerk artsy fartsy indie games.
Knee-jerk?
Yeah, that's the part.
Well, I mean, the part that makes me angry about that is that he's misusing that phrase.
I don't know what he means by that.
It sounded that he was... I mean, knee-jerk is a reference to the involuntary spasm that happens in your leg when a doctor hits it with a little hammer to test your reflexes.
Well, yes, but it sounds to me, just knowing this guy, that what he means is like that artsy-fartsy indie game fans are knee-jerk offended by things like there not being enough female characters.
But the knee-jerk was modified the games themselves. He was saying that the games were knee-jerk.
Well, yes, but I don't think his language was particularly impressive in its precision.
Oh, so
I mean, that's the only read of that word that what do you think he means by that?
My thought was that he was saying that the indie games had stylistic choices which were not considered.
No,
in the same way that AAA... I mean, I'm making a better argument than he could because he's obviously a fucking asshole.
Right.
But there is that discussion that has been floated before, and I think we've discussed this, that like things like pixels and 8-bit boopy beepy sound.
Walking simulators is a sticking point for this guy. You know what? Have you heard that term bandied about?
Walking simulator, like Journey?
No, more like Gone Home, Dear Esther, things like that.
You can't compare Gone Home and Dear Esther, for Christ's sake.
People do.
Those people are morons. But
they're superficially similar in that they're first-person games without any.
And
shooting.
Also, Journey is a much better example of a walking simulator because
you do a lot of floating.
You do
Journey.
some hopping. But what about that one game that you made me play a while ago, where it's like just this Dayglow landscape and the sound changes depending on like what features you're near, and there's flowers and trees. You're on an island. You know the one I'm talking about?
Proteus.
Proteus.
Yeah, that's called a walking simulator.
Well, that's clearly a walking simulator. You don't do anything but walking. But like,
there are events that occur in whatever.
Sorry, but anyway, yeah. So he's mad about that, as a general matter. As a person, he's offended by these games that require the player to put some thought into it
Yes.
and some imagination.
He just wants to assassinate people.
There will always be games for you, my little buddy. That's the thing. That's the thing. Even in this day and age, when like the major labels, the major publishers, you know, of every conceivable art form are in decline and suffering and losing a lot of money, they're still going.
Yeah.
They're still making huge amounts of money. There's still plenty of shit in the charts. There's still like horrible self-help books being written. There's still like incredibly bad top 40 music. There will always be shit for you, my stupid little friend.
Your terrible taste will always be fed.
Yeah, don't worry, man. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We will never be educated enough that people like you won't be the fucking core demographic of everything. I'm mad today. Can you tell?
No, you know, it's good. This guy deserves it. He never listens to these, which is why I feel safe doing this. But just fuck you, E3.
I'm giggly. giggly.
The PGA golf thing too. It's amazing how fucking out of ideas the AAA game space is. It's like we need golf games aren't selling very well. What do? Let's put explosions in them.
Seriously?
Oh, you didn't see this?
No.
It's the most profound fucking thing. It's like it starts off as being your basic golf game simulator with your cheesy strings, like with the do 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 do, you know.
Yeah, sure.
And you see Tiger Woods whacking a golf ball, and it's like perfect replicas of all the great.
So there's a light. This is
Hold on.
licensed. Okay, go. All right.
Yes, it's the new game in the PGA Golf Series by EA Games, and then it says, you know, play your favorite courses. They're perfectly replicated and all that, or challenge yourself with extreme fantasy courses. And you see a guy whacking a golf ball over the Paracel Storm map from Battlefield 4, complete with a giant U.S. cruiser crashing into the island while the golf ball sails over it.
Whoa! I can't. That goes all the way around as far as I'm concerned. That is art.
It is sort of.
That is knee-jerk artsy fartsy shit as far as I'm concerned. That's
I just
that's
wish
a full reach around back into profundity.
I wish I could believe that. I mean, I know Death of the Author and all that, but I wish I could believe that the intention was satirical.
Clearly not, but I claim Death of the Author on this one.
Yeah,
I would say that's brilliant.
It is.
It was in a completely unintentional way. I claim that's brilliant.
It is both brilliant and evidence of an absolute dearth of ideas in the AAA gaming space.
Yep. I'd say that those two things are not in any way incompatible. Yeah.
Maybe it'll have a Spec Ops: The Line kind of narrative where, like, what is the morality of golf? I think. I mean,
that's a question that, frankly, is well worth asking.
I think on stage they actually said something like, "We had to completely rethink golf."
Oh my god!
After one day of E3, I was like, I'm done.
Combat golf. Well, you know, a lot of things to be mad about. There's a lot of things to be mad about. There's a lot of things to be mad about.
I bet the guy who sold you a broken record player works for AAA Gaming.
He didn't look like that. He looked like he works at a fucking record store, which makes the whole thing even more heinous.
I bet he still plays on his black and white Game Boy.
I would knee him in the balls. If I see that tiny little skinny beardy fuck again, I will...
Go hunt around Greenpoint for him.
His name is Clint, by the way. If you know Clint who hangs around Greenpoint...
And has a tattoo of a beard.
He has a beard and a tattoo, like script tattoo on his left wrist. Punch him in the balls. For me. Thank you. Anywho,
hopefully they get the right Clint.
Some
collateral damage here.
Exactly. I'm not particularly concerned with collateral Clint damage. If you're following my description here, Clint probably deserves it.
Yeah.
That's terrible, Isaac. I should be ashamed of that kind of thing. That's practically misandry, what I just did.
Oh, no.
Anywho.
Hey, not all Clints.
I'm trying in vain to think of some exceptions to that. Well, I mean...
Clint Hocking.
Oh, who's that?
Designer of Far Cry 2.
Oh, right.
The coiner of the term ludonarrative dissonance.
Never mind. Don't punch Clint Hocking in the balls. or Hawkins?
Hawking.
Hawking, right. Cool. Well, we've established that. And we still have a little bit of our drive to go now that we've vented our spleen all over E3 because everybody needed more opinions about that. What other big events have happened in the time since we last trucked it?
Fuck, I don't know. We've been doing a Let's Play series. What do you guys think of that? I ask as though we ever received feedback.
Yeah, I mean, like, we did that because it seemed like it might be fun, and we got a little, I mean, as you do whenever you do something new, we got some attention and then basically wandered off into the core. It's still the core group, so basically it's probably all y'all.
Thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, I mean...
Sorry, it maybe isn't as good as the trucks. It's something new.
I mean, but there's more of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I can make Josh do most of the work.
For once.
I know. It's kind of ironic. Yeah. I bogged myself down with projects so hard to distract myself from the end of the What Dance, and then
You've been doing hella shit.
I'm so...
Most of it seems like it's going pretty good.
Yeah, no, this play is going to be pretty good, I think. Nick is stressed out about it to the max, but I think that it's going to be pretty great.
I'm going to give that dude a high five.
Yeah.
Followed closely by a hug.
Yeah, definitely.
And a kiss on the cheek.
Cool. Yeah, I've been... You know what I've noticed lately? The internet. I've been getting handsier in my old age. I feel like I'm putting my hands on my friends.
I feel like that's been a thing as long as I've known you.
Okay. Maybe I'm just noticing it more. I think that I've been more like noticing my tics and habits recently because, well, for reasons, you know. But when I said that, I asked Nick, "Am I too handsy?" He said, "No." I asked Nathaniel, "Am I too?"
I mean, Nick is a handsy dude.
Yeah, I asked Nathaniel, "Am I too handsy?" He said, "You're the least handsy person I've ever met." Which goes to show instantly how not handsy Josh is.
It's true.
Josh lives in a little bubble.
I mean, I exercise all my handsiness on Monica. I don't even mean it in that way. We're just constantly like poking each other's cheeks for laughs.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have an outlet for that kind of thing. But, you know, I'm sorry, that anecdote was not going anywhere.
It was, I mean,
it was just on my mind.
Let's have an open discourse about handsiness. I actually tend to like. I'm predisposed to like people who are more handsy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like, you know,
you're the opposite of that. I think you dislike people who are handsy.
As a general matter, I do not like to be touched unexpectedly, particularly by people who I don't know very well. And so my handsiness is reserved for people with whom I am close. My friends and my girlfriend and various other, and family members. Yeah, I find the hugger on first contact to be generally disconcerting, and off-putting.
Yeah, I mean, me too, depending on the setting.
But I think that I think that handsiness is cool if you are good at sussing out whether people are huggers or not. I mean, and the easy way to do that is just to hug them once, and like, if they go like, then you never do that. But I think that all that you need is like just a modicum of attention paid. And I've never understood people. Like I've known several people who I ended up disliking for different reasons, but it seemed to be like indicative of their larger character, who were first time huggers, like first meet huggers. And then even though I made it like not just subtly clear, but like I literally said, please don't do that, they kept doing it.
Right, yes.
Because they couldn't conceive of it being unwelcome.
Yeah. And
this was sort of how they expressed who they were in a given social situation. They were a person who gives hugs.
Right.
Right. They're a person who is everybody's chum.
Right. And so they read into your it's like their interpretation of your not liking hugs was that either you're some kind of horrible misanthrope or you just need to have your ice melted.
Right. I mean, I think it was more the latter. Right. I mean, or if I'm some sort of horrible misanthrope, then that is cute, if you see what I mean.
Right.
That nothing a good hugging won't fix.
Yeah.
Which is not that I'm claiming this for myself, but which is kind of ableist bullshit. But but regardless, it's a very strange thing. Extroverts, they're weird.
I've never met anyone.
I've never met anybody who self-identified as an extrovert.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, I have, because I know people who are extroverts. You live in a bubble.
That's
a little box.
Okay, come on now.
But
I've met a lot of people.
No. But in the internet age, right, it has become one of those. There was actually a series of very funny jokes going around Tumblr about. They were like ludicrously overblown, like, extroverts, introverts, like read books and have, clever thoughts, and extroverts like rip flowers out of the ground and kill puppies with their bare hands and that kind of thing, and like scream so loud that they wake up the elder gods, and it's like within the very circumscribed internet cultures in which we swim.
We're like on a mountain.
Yeah, we are literally heading to the edge of the earth.
This game has no, this is a DLC mountain, and it's only occurred to me that the main game doesn't have any shit like this.
It does. It does. When you're driving through Switzerland.
You're right, okay. This is like a challenging mountain road, though. It's been uphill for so long.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go on with what you were saying.
No, it's cool. I'm excited that we're forging new territory here. But yeah, it has become calling somebody extrovert has become kind of an insult.
Mm.
And I don't know. That actually happened to me. An old friend of mine accused me of being an extrovert. That I was, that because I generally enjoy being around people if I'm close to them.
Right. That means you're an extrovert.
That means I'm extrovert, and B, that means that on some fundamental level I do not understand. If you, I'm not even going to finish that sentence. I just don't understand on a certain level as a result of this.
It's a strange thing. I mean, introversion has definitely been romanticized, and among my mom's shipmates, they say that this is something she told me. They say that they are a ship full of introverts, and that's probably why it works out so well for them, because they can all kind of keep to themselves when given a task to work on. And with
the idea being that an extrovert is not physically capable of doing it, of focusing on anything by themselves.
I think with it's more like an extrovert might be more liable to sort of
be hurt by people, to be isolated.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah. I've been coming around to this thing lately. It's like I know a lot of people who take their sort of Myers-Briggs inventory status pretty seriously, and I grew up in a household with my mom who took one's Myers-Briggs inventory extremely seriously, and so it never occurred to me to question it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But and there are definitely folks for whom it is a very useful way to think about their behavior and think about their stuff. But I noticed this is not an original observation, but I've noticed that Tumblr is essentially full of INTJs or whatever.
Or INFJs.
INFJs. And
the two rarest ones.
Exactly, but 95% of everybody on Tumblr is one of those too.
Yeah.
Which is partially because everybody's taking shitty online tests instead of actual Myers-Briggs inventories. But,
and also because there's something aspirational about those answers.
Right. Like, this is the sort of person who I want to be. I'm going to be like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like Sherlock.
It's kind of a profile that we romanticize these days.
Mm-hmm. They're the heroes of our TV shows.
Yeah. That's what I used to get, INFJ. Then I did it again later and more honestly, and I remember I got an E something.
Yay, dude. Another extrovert.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I know that you're more willing to talk to strangers in bars than I am. Maybe you're a filthy extrovert. Maybe you're the one.
Oh no. Don't out me.
You spend all of your time in your room. Possibly. I'm joking. I'm Josh joking.
The explanation for what introvert and extrovert mean kind of gives me pause too. It's that
the drawing energy from social situations,
or being
exhausted by social situations. Where, in my experience, that depends entirely on what kind of social situation it is and with whom you are,
right.
And like how much.
A social situation can go from being exhausting to being energizing to being exhausting.
Right.
And exhaustion, drawing energy from a social situation doesn't strike me as like a a scientifically sound psychological.
Well, energy in quotes is all. The word energy is basically like the scout, the herald of a flotilla of bullshit in a lot of cases. But
crystal energy.
Ooh, yes. You know, I hasten to add, this is not to say that, you know, the people, once again, the people who feel that this is very true, that there is no social situation in which they do not feel in some way drained. I've known people who feel like that. And, sure.
You know,
I think that these categories, like, originally these categories were invented not for everybody, but for people who are in particularly extreme, you know, parts of the personality spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And it's become overused to the point of meaninglessness at this point, which makes me like overly skeptical about the whole Megillah. And I never got anything. I mean, my test results on those always fluctuated anyway. I was always IN, but everything else was just sort of a toss up.
Yeah.
And
how can a person either be a perceiving person or a feeling person?
well, it's jargon. Yeah, I mean, what they mean by that isn't what like the English language means by that. But regardless, it seems to be another outgrowth of sort of snowflakery, and
Bah, snowflakery, the greatest evil facing our society.
that's the thing. Like, I get so mad about it and like all of the shit that we've been talking about, you know, over the course of this is so much worse than like teenagers thinking they're special.
Yeah.
But there's a certain kind of white hot lava rage that comes out of a lot of people in response to that is completely disproportionate with what it actually merits.
Yeah. Oh shit! This is going wobbly wibbly. Oh no.
That's alright though. You know,
I'm gonna park my goddamn truck.
I feel like everybody wants a diagnosis of something or other.
Hmm.
And what about those of us with real problems, huh?
Some people have real problems.
Some people have real problems.
I'm not
Those
one of
people
them.
are not me. Exactly. I mean, there's nothing like the internet to remind you that whatever tribulations you might deal with in life.
Well, on the other hand, everyone has real problems.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're the ones they're
Well,
talking about.
Yeah, we just put the world to rights right now.
Yeah.
You know. I wouldn't talk about my real problems on the internet because
yes.
I don't think anybody would want to hear about them. Okay. Anyway, so how do you pronounce the place that we just went?
Kos. I have no idea. I'm not even gonna try.
I'm gonna guess that is pronounced Coochie.
Coochie.
Coochie. All right, yo. That was a pretty energetic episode, and I said fuck a whole bunch.
We have to check one more thing.
Yep.
Here's the portrait list. Let's look for women.
This is the portrait gallery, Nick.
That's a lot of men.
A lot of men. Okay, cool.
That's a lot of men.
A lot of men. A lot of ugly men.
That's ambiguous, but I think it's a man.
That's a man. It's got a mustache. Not that you have to be a man to have a mustache.
Maybe the women are in the latter half. Okay, here we go.
All right, yeah. Still working on it. This would be incredibly lazy if there weren't any women. Wait a minute. What's that? Is that?
I think that's
maybe?
a man.
No. Yeah.
Oh my god, Isaac! I don't think there's
no.
any women.
Oh no! Oh no! Fucking Eurotruck! What the fuck is wrong with you? How hard would that have been? There's so many pictures. Is that just the development team? Did I take pictures of the development team?
There's no women in the
Oh
video game
my
industry.
god! Okay, so we owe
amendment.
Trucks, yeah, we owe Trucks an apology. We failed to check the lady box.
There's a lady box here.
There's a lady box.
When you check the lady box, it's all ladies.
It's all ladies. I mean,
how could we have
possibly
underestimated them? How could we have missed the lady box?
The lady box. I don't understand this design suspicion.
This one's like wearing like a passenger plane captain's cap.
Toot toot.
This one's got a sweet afro and earrings.
Okay, this is not going to end well. Regardless, sorry Trucks, you were far more progressive than basically every game that came out of BioWare this year.